It's the banks run the world. The rich run the world. They don't care if you're communist or capitalist. And so the banks love it. They love people borrow lots of money. So how do I get rich? I borrow money and I buy assets with it. The poor person borrows money and buys liabilities like purses, cars, houses, and they get poorer and poorer and poorer. Rule number one in Rich Dad Poor Dad: the rich don't work for money. Most people miss that. Well, that goes back to 1971 when Nixon took us off the gold standard and money became fake money. So anyway, my rich are preparing me to think about how can I make money without money? And the way I do it, I create an asset like a book. I'm not saying write books because that's a tough industry, but I write a book today. I sell 50 licenses to 50 different languages and I collect royalties for years, a long tail. So my money just keeps coming in. But with that, I borrow. So let's say I make $10 in a book. I'll borrow $50 to invest in real estate. I step up my bases with appreciation. That's financial education. Yeah. That garbage they teach you about invest for the long term in the stock market. Why would I do that when I can make up my own assets? That's what entrepreneurs do. Every entrepreneur should be making up their own assets and staying out of the stock market. That's my point of view. But can everybody do it? No, of course not.
Sure.
I've screwed up enough times to prove I can do it. And my accountant will back me up. Yeah, the guy is an idiot, but he does create assets. Do you know why they tell you to save money?
I don't know.
Because the system of banking has nothing to do with communism or capitalism. So when you save, let's say you save $1 US or €1, 1 yen, the banking system can lend out 10. So the entire system is called the fractional reserve system. The fractional reserve system is also printing money. Then they tell you to save money. So they want you to save money so they can lend out your money 10 times. So your dollar became worthless 10 times over. And then they used to pay you 10% interest on your money. Now it's at best 1%. And they're still lending it out 10 times. So that's why you don't save money, is because your money is becoming worth less and less and less and less and less. The banks are getting richer and richer and richer. Then they tax you on that interest. They pay that 1% interest if they pay you that much. Japan is 0. And the Japanese are so stupid, they still save money.
We also have 0.
And they still save money. How stupid is that? That's what I would question. So how come that happens? Now, if I borrow money, guess what? Do I pay taxes on debt?
I guess no.
Why is that? This is what I'm saying. Okay. Question everything.
Okay.
So when they lend out money, that's how money is created. Money is debt. They lend out them. Why is debt tax-free?
I don't know.
Because that's how money is created. And so the banks love it. They love people borrow lots of money. But I use debt. I borrowed $300 million after the crash dollars in 2000. By 2010, I had borrowed $300 million to buy real estate. That made me rich. And the interest rates kept coming down. So that my cost of money kept coming down. Hence, everybody else is saying, oh, you should get out of debt. You know why? Because they don't question the hypnosis they're under. You've been hypnotized to work hard for money, to save it. The fractional reserve system prints it. And then they pay taxes of taxes. So I have all this debt and I get rich. Passive income is generally what happens when you invest in the stock market. Portfolio income. So they say, well, I bought Tesla at 100. It went up to 200. I sold it. So I made $100. That's portfolio income. That's taxed at the next higher level. So when I have passive income, tax-free, getting passive income, you have to know what you're doing. So that's why I have the best, first of all, bookkeeper, accountants, attorneys, bankers. I operate as a team. Just like when we flew into combat, we're a team. And most people are trying to do it self-employed way. I'm a good computer programmer. You pay the highest taxes, you work the hardest, you don't get to end that way. But that's what most people, they want to do it on their own. If you want it done right, do it by yourself. And an employee is always saying the same words. I'm looking for a safe, secure job with benefits and a paycheck and pension. That's what they're looking for. Tax law are nothing but incentives, not punishments. So if you donate, I just donated money to the food bank. It's around food, plus $10,000. I get a tax break. I don't donate money to the food bank, no tax break. So because I have 7,000 rentals in apartment houses, I got a tax break. You know why? Because I'm providing housing. And because I have thousands of employees, the tax break, the government even sends me money to pay my employees. Because I'm one of those kids that don't like school. School is good for people who like school. But here was my poor dad, head of education, PhD, on the governor's board of Hawaii and all this stuff. And his kid, me, and I'm flunking out of school because I can't read, I can't write. Listen, I couldn't read, I couldn't write. I was bored out of my mind. I was just, hey. So what I did instead was that's when I met my rich dad, was my best friend's father. And he used these things called a game. See, games are the best teaching tools. See, when I'm playing this game, this is how the rich taught their kids battle strategies called chess. My rich dad taught me to be a rich man playing Monopoly. We played Monopoly, ow, after ow. The formula for great wealth of Monopoly is 4 greenhouses, 1 red hotel. So today in Arizona, I own 8,000 greenhouses. It's several red hotels. I just played Monopoly for real. So that's the power of a game, because a game engages me mentally, physically, because I actually have to move things, emotionally, because when somebody knocks me out, I better wake up. I made a mistake. Well, the reason the rich don't work for money is number one expense is tax. See, there's 3 kinds of income: earned, portfolio, passive. So earned income is if I get a job, that's earned income. If I'm a doctor or a programmer, that's earned income because I'm working. If I buy, let's say, Apple for $10 and I sell it for 20, that's portfolioing, capital gains.
Yeah.
But passive income, which is cash flow, is never taxed. And so these guys are screaming right now in America, tax the rich. I said, good luck. Because most of the guys complaining, they don't know there's 3 kinds of income. And the rich don't have jobs anyway. They have assets. And so the average schmo out there, poor guy, sent the kid to school. They don't learn this. The tax laws are for everybody to use if you have the right financial education. And the reason I'm an advocate of financial education, without that education, you have to pay taxes. You see, very few people will buy what I do, make $1 million and pay 0 tax. McDonald's is in the real estate business. So they sell hamburgers, but they buy real estate, so they pay no taxes. When I came back from Vietnam in 73, my poor dad said, get your MBA. If my rich dad laughed, you turn out to be an employee. Who else hires guys with MBAs? You know what I mean? He was just pragmatic about it. He says, if you really want to be rich, take a class on real estate. I said, why is that? He says, once you understand real estate, it's based on debt. And he says, you will learn how to use debt as money, because that's what happened in 71. The US dollar became debt. So once you learn how to use debt as money, you can never say, I can't afford it. After the crash of 2008, the banks gave me $300 million tax-free to buy real estate that the idiots had lost. And they were idiots because prices were so high. Why would you buy it at the top of a market? Don't you know that's going to crash? Oh, no. This is, that was the subprime, was the derivatives market, MBSs and all that stuff. Had driven the price of real estate so high, and the rest of us were just waiting. And then when the whole thing came crashing down, all this real estate was now available, and they needed, the Fed and those guys in the Treasury needed guys like us to go in there. So Wall Street gave us hundreds of millions of dollars to mop up all that real estate these guys had lost. Now, it's fair because everybody could do it. When I asked the average guy, why don't you use debt? They can't even get a loan because their scores are so bad. So that's what's going on in the world today. They think the rich are crooks. The rich just play by different laws. So now we have the stock market, this one area of the economy, all-time highs, floating on fake money. Real estate. I mean, I don't know how people can afford to live in New York. I was looking at a condo for $55 million. Real estate in Silicon Valley, you can't afford to live. And then all these companies started borrowing money. So the economy's good and, unemployment's low and all this. They say there's no inflation. But have you seen the price of food, real estate, and student loans and medical? It's a bubble, So now what's going to happen is the baby boomers, my generation, are going to start to retire. There's no money there. Social Security is broke. Pensions are broke. The students are broke. They're screwing everybody with debt. This is called not economics. This is called bubblenomics. But they'll never teach you this in school
And why do they keep printing money? Because they want to save something.
because it's an addiction. The moment you take that one hit, they say, okay, I'll quit next week. And the economy gets worse, so they can go. Trump gave us a tax cut in America. This thing gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So what happened in 2008, they stopped it by printing money. They call it the Great Recession. But they didn't really fix anything. Derivatives went from 700 trillion to 1.2 trillion today, twice as much. And that, this doesn't tell the whole story. So when the recession hit, the PhD standard came in. That was Bernanke, and then Yellen. The PhD said, they have PhDs. Well, it's no different than long-term capital, LTCM. They had Nobel Prize winners, people like my poor dad, academics, This is what's going on in the world economy today. So the baby boomers are going to retire. Now, student loans are bust. So do you have to be an economist to tell you what's going to happen? We're fighting a 12-year war now. Entitlements are going through the roof. National debt to GDP is 109 in America, 109%. 90% is too late. We have to keep printing now. So this is called bubblenomics, and this is what's going to happen.
Scary stuff.
It's happened throughout history. I am very shy, very, very shy. I came back from Vietnam and I couldn't talk to people. And one day I said to I decided to follow my rich dad's footsteps. I just said to him, I want to be an entrepreneur. He says, you got one problem. I said, what's that? I said, you're shy. I said, what's wrong with being shy? He says, you got to sell. You got to handle rejection. Number one skill. Can you handle rejection? Answer is no, I couldn't handle it. This was in 1973. I was 25 years old. And my rich dad said, how's your love life? He says, because you can't sell. Guys got it? So when I talk about what skill do you need when the hits the fan, you better start selling. So I went to work with Xerox in 1974 so I could learn how to sell. It took me 4 years and I was number one. And today I'm a best-selling author. Most PhDs tell me I can't write. Yes, I said I can't write, but I can sell. If you can't sell, you don't make money, period. End of statement. Just because you have a product doesn't mean jack shit. But the important thing is you start. I don't care what product you start with, but you start. I started off with nylon wallets. Success wiped me out. We couldn't sell. Ultimately, it took off. Then I couldn't finance. Couldn't finance because the sales kept going through the roof. Now, trouble is I kept borrowing and I couldn't sustain the sales. Next lesson. But that's how we learn.